Hello and welcome to a Thursday Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination to consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. Together live for these next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time. Bright and early on this Thursday to talk about a ton around the sports world. It is still a month of football here in July. Some big NFL news to break down as we continue our NFL playoff profiles, and a team we discussed yesterday, the four-time reigning champions of the NFC South. Some bad news on the injury front that we'll get to in just a little bit. We'll talk about the one seeds in each conference in hour two. And DRS, of course, a recap of a nearly full slate around Major League Baseball. A rain out due to inclement weather, a postponement in Baltimore between the O's and the Mets. But outside of that, 14 great games, a couple of day baseball, ending out some midweek sets. Plenty to break down here on the early line on this Thursday.
Absolutely. Past hump day yesterday, which was Wednesday, Thursday. Now looking towards the weekend championships over there at Wimbledon. We'll get some updates on those today. And also, yes, Major League Baseball at the forefront. We'll talk home run derby, which I'm getting more upset with day by day at this point. Maybe a team will drop a new uniform today that we can take a look at as a fashionista, fashion police here today. Maybe we'll find that out. But you know what I'm excited for? TEL on a Thursday with my good buddy Ben Stevens.
Well, my good buddy, Donnie Rightside. Yeah. So let's get going. Before we dive into everything else, DRS, some big news around the association last night. Devin Booker signing a contract extension that will keep him in Phoenix through the 2029-30 season, and a historic one at that based on annual average value. D-Book signing a 2-year, $145 million extension. You do the quick math, you carry the 7, multiply that. Oh, yeah, that's $72.5 million per year on an annual average value, making it the richest per year deal in NBA history. Devin Booker moving past the historic and richest contract extension that our reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, signed just a couple of weeks ago, DRS. That was to the tune of $71.25 million per year. D-Book passes that in Phoenix, $72.5 million per season.
So an MVP who was the best player in the league, the best player in the playoffs, won his team a championship, got paid a lot of money. And oh yeah, there's Devin Booker, who's never won anything and will surpass him. It's just the nature of the beast, people. The ROI, return on investment for Phoenix, is not there at that contract, but they're still going to make that money anyway. Devin Booker got paid to do what? Probably lose even more games next year, because I don't know what Phoenix is trying to do.
Score about 25 points per game, which he has done in the previous 8 seasons. Devin Booker has spent the entire decade of his NBA career with this Suns organization. Of course, already an offseason of change for Phoenix. They trade away Kevin Durant. We'll see about Bradley Beal up next. It is Devin Booker's team, but is the outlook bright in the Valley? 170-1, the price on the Suns to win the Western Conference crown. The fourth longest on that side of the association. All right, July is a football month, but if there's injury news right now, DRS, during that summer break, a few weeks before training camp begins, not necessarily a good sign. In some bad news for the Buccaneers, their all-pro left tackle, Baker Mayfield, blindside blocker, Tristan Wirfs, re-aggravated a knee injury during his offseason training and now underwent surgery earlier this week. He is set to miss at least the first few weeks of the season. Tampa right now discussing if they will place him on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform, that would guarantee Wirfs is on the sideline for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Hey, look what? I would like that. You know why? I believe the Philadelphia Eagles play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 4th week of the season. Would love that pup. Get rested up. Yep, get rested up. Big guy, man. Get after it here after week 5 and beyond. But it's better to get that cleaned up now and handled now as opposed to later. Hey, let's see if rest will help it. Well, you take that into another month. Now you're missing the entirety of October. Get that cleaned up. Get that player back out there. One of the best tackles in football. The sooner, the better. They're doing that now for the Bucs.
As he was getting through his offseason training, experienced multiple setbacks with a knee injury, DRS, that sidelined him for only 1 game. Tristan Wirfs, an NFL legend already, the only player in National Football League history to earn all-pro first-team honors at both right and left tackle. Absolute stud. DRS, Home Run Derby discussions. We have another participant. Junior Caminero will play or at least participate in the Home Run Derby on Monday night in Atlanta. Your reaction?
We're starting to get like the NBA dunk competition. I know who Junior Caminero is. Put Junior Caminero's name up there and ask a random person, is this a real baseball player? If he is, what team does he play for? Or does he even play baseball or maybe soccer or another sport at this point? This is the issue I have. The All-Star game is meant for all stars. The All-Star game is meant for the stars of the sport. When I want to see Home Run Derby, I want recognizable names and absolutely monster home run hitters. No knock to Junior, who's a good player on a good baseball team, but the stars are supposed to shine at this event, and we're not getting them.
DRS, I host a sports show. We talk about baseball in large part each and every day. I had to remind myself who Junior Caminero plays for. You saw it on the graphic, the Tampa Bay Rays. More updates for the All-Star game in the Midsummer Classic this upcoming Tuesday, fewer than a week away. Robot umpires? The future of MLB. Each team will be allowed two challenges to challenge immediately. A ball or strike call can only come on the field from a hitter, the pitcher, or the catcher, but it will be brought to the All-Star game on Tuesday evening in Atlanta.
Good. So it means that we're going to get more clarity in the next couple of years on if we can get robo-umps. The technology there, right there. If they started after the All-Star break and removed the umpire from behind the plate, the sport would be so much better. But yet, we let the umpires, because we let the human element of a blown strike call costing a team a win, which costs you money when you handicap on it and gets the players upset here. But we like the human element for some reason in baseball. It doesn't make sense.
Robots, a controversial subject. Big day in the WNBA yesterday. Quadruple header. Caitlin Clark returns her fever, blown out by the Golden State Valkyries in Indy. Angel Reese's Chicago Sky on short rest. Back home and pick up a double-digit win against the Dallas Wings. 7th consecutive double-double for Angel Reese. And Reebok announces a signature shoe for Angel Reese yesterday as well.
Yeah, shoe looks, doesn't look like a basketball shoe, maybe a tennis shoe or a walking shoe at that point. I was taking a look at it there, but also understand this. There was a 17-point underdog yesterday that won outright yesterday. The WNBA was crazy early on yesterday.
That was the Connecticut Sun, bright and early, pulling off the home upset against the Seattle Storm. Dallas Keuchel back to the bigs, or at least the minor leagues. The former Cy Young winner last season pitched with the Brewers. The Royals are inking him to a minor league deal.
Let me tell you something. You go to the ballpark, you see that little pitching cage that says measure your pitches there. I'm sure 13-year-old boys could outduel Dallas Keuchel in a fastball right now at this point. Can't wait for him to get back. We're going to hammer that guy.
Semifinals are set at Wimbledon. Tomorrow, it's the men. Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic. What a duel. Taylor Fritz and Carlos Alcaraz. First up today, though, it is semifinal Thursday in the women's draw. Arina Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek, hefty favorites in their two matches.
Yeah, but never would have believed that a couple of those men's tennis players are making it all the way through to the Final Four. Who would have thought that would happen? What suspense at Wimbledon.
Those three favorites looking to be in pole position. The Club World Cup final, how about it, is set. It will be PSG versus Chelsea this weekend.
Where is that? Do we know where that's at? Is it New York? Is it Houston? Is it L.A.? Like, where is this championship at?
All three of them. I think it's New York, Houston, and L.A. Can't say I paid much attention to the Club World Cup. Major League Baseball recaps on the other side of the break here, DRS on the early line.
You're going to...
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
It's too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him
rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
A recap of a Wednesday around Major League Baseball live right here on this Thursday on the Early Line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie. I am Ben. DRS, let's start in Milwaukee. A big game for the LA Dodgers trying to snap a 5-game slide and avoid a sweep against the Brew Crew. Also doubly big for Los Angeles as Tyler Glasnow made his return to the mound for the first time in more than 2 months. Glasnow sidelined since the end of April. He wasn't bad. His first start since April 27th. 5 innings of work, did not allow an earned run, although a run was scored against LA while Glasnow was in the game. Only 2 base knocks, 5 Ks, but 3 walks. But ultimately, DRS, it was the Brewers walking it off in extras to take the sweep against the Dodgers. Milwaukee booked as a dog in all 3 games. No matter. Milwaukee wins all 3. Jackson Chourio, the walk-off RBI single in the home half of the 10th. Milwaukee sweeps LA. The Dodgers have now dropped 6 straight.
We said yesterday, such a tough game to handicap. Like I said, you know what? I'm going to trust Glasnow, even though I don't want to. And if you would have told me before that game started, Ben, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs. Yep, Dodgers are back to business. Glasnow looks good. Glasnow did perform what he was supposed to do, but the Dodger bats didn't. And that also goes right into Jose Quintana. Like the day before, you had, Mizorowski on the mound, and it was like, hey, you know what's going to happen here? A power arm, 100 miles an hour, lefty. Oh, my goodness, this guy's tough. Then you get almost the exact opposite. It's like that eye change where you talk about like, all right, a knuckleballer comes in on a Tuesday and then a guy throws 100 miles an hour the next day. It's a odd discrepancy. Oh, man, boy, we were preparing for something completely different. That's what happened. Like you see Quintana, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Get out of here. The guy can't strike anybody out. The guy puts guys on base by walking it, and yet you still can't touch him because he's a pretty slippery pitcher. No excuses for the Dodgers to go on this losing streak because you didn't think that was going to happen at any time during the season if you asked to begin the season. But this is what happens, the ebbs and flows of Major League Baseball. Maybe they're lucky the All-Star break is coming up. But last time I checked, even with that 3-2 loss, nobody cares. There's still a decided favorite in the National League because the regular season doesn't matter. And the biggest takeaway from this game was, hey, looks like Glasnow's back. They lost, so what? Glasnow's back. They win this game 7-6, and Glasnow gets blown up over the first 3 innings, but the Dodgers come back. That's actually a worse lead than you take a look at them winning the game outright at that point here. So don't be fine, the Dodgers. They just can't win right now.
56 and 38 DRS. The Dodgers had built such a cushion because of a very strong ending of the month of June that despite the 6-game skid, the Dodgers still have the best record in the National League and a 5-game lead within their own division, the NL West. How about Andrew Vaughn? an afterthought in the Aaron Savali trade when Milwaukee moved Savali to Chicago, the White Sox sending Vaughn in return. He started his Brewers stint in the minor leagues. And DRS this week called up for the first time for this midweek set against the Dodgers. Had a 3-run home run in the opener on Monday, leading to 9 runs and a victory for the Brew Crew. Yesterday, a pinch hit game-tying RBI that sent us to extras in Milwaukee, and the Brewers complete the sweep. The Dodgers going in one way, Milwaukee in the other. The Brewers have won 4 in a row in 14 of their last 19. And as the Cubbies are struggling this week, they've dropped their first 2 games against the Minnesota Twins. Milwaukee only trails Chicago by a game and a half in the National League Central. DRS, as we look at the MVP odds around the National League, again, everybody that has anything to do with the Dodgers is going to get that bump. And Shohei Ohtani, who also is on the bump as a pitcher, remains that hefty favorite, minus 1450 to win the NL MVP award. Juan Soto's not even an all-star. Who cares that he has the second best price along Pete Crow, Armstrong, and the Cubbies have dropped 2 straight games this week. Again, to Donnie's point, the Dodgers have lost 6 straight, the All-Star break on the horizon, 1 more weekend set for LA before we enter the All-Star break at the conclusion of action on Sunday. And the Dodgers are A-OK. And the World Series prices, the pennant prices, the division prices, and even their superstar in Shohei Ohtani still remains a hefty favorite to win his second straight NL MVP hardware.
Yeah, nobody else is going to touch him. Juan Soto can hit 55 home runs. It doesn't matter. Ohtani's going to get back to the mound and probably hit 45-plus home runs. Unless he gets a long-term injury, he will win it. Same thing with Aaron Judge. And by the way, deservedly so. They are the 2 best players in Major League Baseball. It's not even close on a second place to either one of those guys. The only thing that we're thankful of is there's not only one MVP. Like you take a look at the NFL. Hey, league MVP. Yeah. You have 2 league MVPs. Can you imagine these 2 guys going toe-to-toe for MVP? At least they can both get MVPs because, by the way, they're both deserving of it by a wide margin.
The National League MVP of 2 seasons ago in 2023, Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. He will represent the Braves in the All-Star game as a starter and in the Home Run Derby on Monday in his home ballpark. But yesterday out in Sacramento, Acuna Jr. reminding of that pop at the dish. 2 home runs yesterday, DRS, for Atlanta. They finally get to the 40-win benchmark as they hammer the Athletics 9-2. They got hammered the day prior by the A's, so a big win for the Braves. But as you see there, despite being an ever so slight road favorite, Atlanta still 11 games sub 500.
Yeah, got 5 total home runs yesterday for the Atlanta Braves. That's what happens in that small ballpark there in Sacramento. There's no doubt about it, because you take a look, they scored 9 runs, and they were only 2 of 4 with runners in scoring position and only left 5 runners on base. Man, you hit home runs, guys are clearing the bases here, and you don't have to be with runners in scoring position, but that's good for the Atlanta Braves. They needed that win in the absolute worst way, and they got it. And Acuna back in the lineup, so maybe tweaking that back in the locker room, or should I say in the weight room, and maybe it's not that big of a deal, man. He was corking yesterday, man.
Yes, he certainly was. DRS, the Yankees have been corking as of late as well. They're opening 2 games in the Bronx of their midweek set against the Seattle Mariners. They have been scoring some runs. 9 yesterday against Seattle. And Jazz Chisholm, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. The Yankees knock off the M's for a second straight win this week. 3rd in a row for the Yanks, who entered in a struggling way. The Yankees knock off the Mariners 9-6.
Yeah, it's almost crazy. Like, you take Jazz Chisholm on a day-to-day basis. Don't take an RBI. Don't take a single. Don't get multiple base hits here. Just take him, get a home run, because that's what he swings for, and rightfully so. That guy can absolutely lay waste to that small right field porch out there, and certainly did that yesterday. Another 9 spot for the Yankees. Like to see it. Aaron Judge hangs around 360 still here with his batting average.
No home runs for either the captain, number 99 in pinstripes, or Big Dumper, but Aaron Judge, a couple of RBIs on a double late in the game. More around Major League Baseball next.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flagg, and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. You know, a lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get thrown out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, you know, early, you know, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You know, you got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California, if you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, a language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino, there is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know what to get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team. Who is the point guard? And then I think as a sixth man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We continue going around Major League Baseball on a nearly full slate Wednesday here on this Thursday morning on the early line. A few more notes, DRS, from the Bronx yesterday for the Yankees and their 9-6 win over the Seattle Mariners. The rookie making his MLB debut, that was Cam Schlittler, on the bump for the Yanks. 5 1/3, struck out 7, did allow a few earned, but his offense, of course, was there to pick him up. He earns the victory in his MLB debut. Cool for Schlittler, who was a 7th-round pick back in 2022 and has excelled this year at both the double and triple A level. We talked about Jazz Chisholm, who has basically taken over those starting duties in the infield for Aaron Boone and the Yankees at second base. So because of it, DFA'd DJ LeMahieu yesterday, a 2-time batting champ, including in New York in 2020 in his first year with the Yanks in that COVID-shortened season. Actually had the best WAR, DRS, wins above replacement in MLB, and of course got his start in Colorado. So DJ LeMahieu still owed $22 million on a fairly large contract. DFA designated for assignment yesterday, basically cut by the Pinstripes.
Yeah, it's good when you take a look at, general managers and ownership groups that put like the price of wins more than the price of the player. Like, we owe him so much money. We can't just get rid of him, use him to see what he can do. If he's a detriment to the team, you got to cut bait. You got to move on. And we've seen teams that do that this year. Jeimer Candelario has done that as well. So there you go. Yeah. Guys getting bought out in Major League Baseball on good baseball teams. Why? Because they want to win. It makes sense here. DJ LeMahieu, we'll see if he goes somewhere else. But if the Yankees going to cut you loose with that much money, there's probably people looking at like, hey, you know what? It's probably the end of the line for the guy.
Yeah, maybe so, DRS. We'll see what LeMahieu's future is in the bigs, probably more than likely in the Bronx. That has come to a close. My good friend, Matt, great friends with DJ LeMahieu. They grew up playing baseball together in the Detroit suburbs. So you feel for LeMahieu. By the way, Cam Schlittler gets that start and a win in his MLB debut. American League Rookie of the Year odds. Jackie Kaggs for Kansas City, 2 consecutive games with a home run, but it has not been a great start to his MLB career, not even listed on these American League Rookie of the Year odds that you will see. However, DRS, now that favorite for Houston, their rookie, where it stands right now, Cam Smith at -105. But Jacob Wilson for the Athletics, isn't he the starter at shortstop for the American League? Yeah. Why is he not the favorite any longer?
Why isn't Kurtz even up higher? I mean, that guy's knocking the absolute cover off of the baseball. It's crazy, too, because you look at Wilson and Kurtz, it's like, yeah, they're on a bad baseball team and Cam Smith on a better one. But to be honest, once again, like, sometimes I look at the C. Smith, I'm like, ooh, who's that guy? I don't say that when I see Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz out there, right? It's not the same thing for me. Like Roman Anthony, I know that name, he hasn't performed well. Jason Dominguez is like a 60-year-old rookie for the Yankees. We all know him. And then Carlos Novaya is coming up for Boston. So it's funny, like, if you ask me to reorder that, like, and yeah, Cam Smith's having a good season, but I got to tell you, the two A's kids, I'd put above them. I just would.
Roman Anthony yesterday, 2 for 4 at the dish. Carlos Narvaez, a home run for the Red Sox, who have also been highly offensive this week in sweeping the Colorado Rockies. Back-to-back games for Boston, scoring double-digit runs, 10 in each against the Rocks, and they scored 9 in the opener. They swept Colorado. DRS, the longest win streak in Major League Baseball, comes to a close yesterday. Rather surprisingly, the Blue Jays' 10-game win streak, one shy of tying the franchise record for the longest ever win streak in the history of the Jays, comes to an end at 10 as they lose to the White Sox in Chicago. Low-scoring game, 2-1. DRS, you've been paying attention to Adrian Hauser for the Sox? Another gem in his 9th start of the year on the South Side. 7 innings of work, 7 hits, 2 Ks. He is 5-2 this year with a 1.56 ERA. One of the very few bright spots for this White Sox team, Adrian Hauser.
Yeah, usually you'd say, like, okay, Toronto probably lost 9-8. They just got out-slugged because their bats have been absolutely on fire. Only 1 run out of the Toronto Blue Jays, and they only lost the game by 1 run here. You can't win them all. Even the worst teams in Major League Baseball are going to bite some of the better teams in baseball. We get that. But that was pretty surprising yesterday. I thought Lauer would do a decent job, and if you would have told me once again, hey, Lauer goes 4 innings pitched and gives up only 2 earned runs, the way the bats have been excelling for Toronto, you probably thought that would be a win. Sox get the W, 2-1, man. It's baseball.
Not against Adrian Hauser, however. 5-2 with a 1.56 ERA.
Trade him.
Not qualified based on all of the stats this year for Chicago. But DRS, if he does ever get qualified and that ERA stays around the 1.56, which maybe we do not anticipate, that would be the best ERA in all of the bigs. We'll continue our recaps around MLB. Getting ready for the All-Star break next.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's continue our recaps around Major League Baseball because why not? He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. The Twins, a victory yesterday, DRS, in Minneapolis. They have taken the opening 2 games of their midweek series this week against the Chicago Cubs. 4-2 win for the Twins. Not great news for Chicago, but with good comes some bad for Minnesota. Their all-star, Byron Buxton, injured in the game, hit by a pitch on his left hand in that opening frame, DRS. Did stay in the game initially, but then exited in the second inning. Byron Buxton, the native of the near Atlanta, Georgia area, not only supposed to return to Atlanta this week as an all-star, but one of our participants already announced for the Home Run Derby on Monday. We hope Buxton can be out there in the ATL.
Yeah, maybe they're getting x-rays or maybe x-rays were negative or just taken out of that game precautionary because he's a really big weapon for the Minnesota Twins who are trying to fight their way back to 500 here and maybe get back into that wild card race. But a good victory yesterday overall. Festa's one of the pitchers I usually like to fade. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, getting the job done. Horton, on the other hand, does take the loss, got lumped up a little bit early. But when you look at the Minnesota Twins, they did score 4 runs. Their bats have been hot, but they were 2 of 12 for runners in scoring position. Could have been much, much worse for the Cubs if they had connected on some of those runners in scoring position. Flip side for the Cubbies, only 1 of 4. Didn't have many opportunities to score runs yesterday in that powerful lineup. So the Twins get another victory here, sort of helping out one central side in the AL to the central side on the other side. I'm sure the other teams love the Cubbies getting knocked down a peg, which includes a team we just talked about in the Brewers as well.
The Brew Crew only back by a game and a half now, DRS, behind the Cubbies. In the American League Central, still an incredibly large lead for Detroit. 13 games in front of both the Royals and the Twins. But the Tigers, the only team right now technically riding a losing skid. They lost yesterday against Tampa in a high-scoring affair at home as the Rays avoid the sweep against the Tigers. 7-3 win for Tampa yesterday in the Motor City. Again, the Tigers still hold a 13-game lead despite having that 5-game win streak snapped yesterday by the Rays.
Yeah, good to see the Rays wake up. And by the way, we might be looking at a total in Boston tonight. The temperature's a little bit cooler, but Tampa goes into Boston, who's red hot at the plate as well. But if we do look at this game overall, Olsen was good, Ben. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and something that we haven't seen in a while. Like the Tigers' bullpen was sensational in the earlier games against Tampa Bay. They sort of fell through in this game, which you can't be great every night, win every game. We get that. And Tampa's a quality opponent. But good to see Tampa bust through with the bats against the bullpen, which is something they couldn't do earlier in the week against the Tigers.
And when you look at Junior Caminero, named to the All-Star Home Run Derby, a home run for the final run of the game in the top of the 7th for Caminero, his 22nd this year for Tampa. 7-3 win for the Rays. They avoid that sweep, and as DRS alluded to, we could see some offense through this weekend in a 4-game divisional set between the Rays and the Red Sox before we get to the All-Star break. Boston scored 29 total runs in its sweep this week of the Colorado Rockies. All right, elsewhere, DRS, around Major League Baseball, an 11-game road win streak for the Miami Marlins, the longest in franchise history, I guess had to come to an end at some point. It did yesterday as the Reds at home beat up on the Fish 7-2.
And by the way, the biggest news of this game is not necessarily the Marlins losing. We don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're playing good baseball. The Reds back over 500. It's the question marks that are now going to start to come up on Sandy Alcantara. Before that injury, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Like, oh, he's still rounding back in the form. How many starts do we need to get back into form with a 7.22 ERA on the season after going 5 innings and 6 earned runs? This guy was once dominant. Now he looks like a tomato can out there, and he was supposed to be the guy that, the Marlins are always flipping over decent pitchers because they don't want to pay him. Well, I think teams still like Sandy Alcantara, but if that's your missing piece for the Dodgers or the Mets or the Braves or whoever wants to try to make a playoff run, that doesn't look like a guy that you really want to sign up for, at least give 2 or 3 of your best prospects in your organization for at this point. That's tough for the Marlins, who thought they would get a bag back for the guy. Might be getting a knockoff bag at this point.
4-9 with a 7.22 ERA this year. He gave up 6 earned runs with a home run allowed in there in 5 innings of work yesterday in Cincinnati. Sandy Alcantara, that was unhittable during his Cy Young season back in 2022. Of course, an injury in 2023, missed the entirety of last year, as DRS alluded to. High hopes for his return this year for the Fish has not happened. On the other side, Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati. a revelation. 7 2/3 yesterday, only a single earned run allowed, 100 pitches DRS. He is 8-1 this year with a 2.07 ERA. I need my Reds to post 33 more wins to get to 80 and over their preseason win total. Elsewhere, as we go to Kansas City, the Royals taking on the Pirates yesterday, a 4-3 win for KC as Salvador Perez, the veteran, remains hot DRS. A solo shot in the home half of the 8th. That turned out to be the game winner for KC at Kauffman. The Royals have now won 4 straight games.
Yeah, Royals looking back up here, getting closer to 500, which, again, you want to make that surge before you take a look at the All-Star break and then the trade deadline to show your organization that you have a legitimate chance to get the wild card, and they'll make changes in favor of your clubhouse, not take away players from your clubhouse if they don't think they can make a run. But also yesterday, I thought the Kansas City Royals had the pitching advantage. I actually like the run line here, basically, for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Started out great, 3-0, but a 3 spot there in the top of the 6th inning, basically doomed that 1 run in the bottom of the 8th, a 4-3 final. The Royals get the win. They'll take that. But the Pirates, again, I don't know, we popping bottles that they scored 3 runs in another loss. Congratulations.
14 years in the bigs, all in Kansas City for Salvi. Of course, he is a legend. 2 homers yesterday. Just turned 35 in May. How about from the veteran to the rookie, Jack Caglione, a 2-run shot. Second consecutive game with a home run, but batting just 158 in his start in Major League Baseball. DRS, some updated win totals around MLB. The Marlins, 69.5. The Reds, 80.5. The Pirates, 66.5. Again, I need my Reds, who I had over 79.5, so we like that up to 80 and a hook to get to 80. They are 47-46, now a game above 500. The Pirates swept in KC, second consecutive sweep. The Pittsburgh Pirates have suffered in their last 2. They were swept over the weekend in Seattle by the Mariners. They're 38-56. The Marlins won 8 straight games. That win streak came to a close last week, their first in nearly 2 decades, winning 8 straight. We just talked about the 11-game road winning streak for Miami. They came to a close yesterday in Cincinnati. Miami playing better baseball, 42-49 with a win total still sub 70. Not the craziest bet to make if you want to back the fish.
No, I probably would look at all 3 of those teams and say, you know what, I would take all 3 to the over, and I think I would go 2-1 because the Marlins, I mean, technically they're in sell mode, but who are they selling? Alcantara at this point?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they're going to sell any of their young players because that's the core that you want to keep around. You're cheap. You can handle them. They'll get their arbitration years. And then you take a look at the Pittsburgh Pirates who are running that like right down the middle because they want to act like they're a big league ball club, but they're not. So how would it look? They're not going to trade Paul Skeens. I don't think that's going to happen. They probably like, we'll run him in the ground 5 years, then trade him, and we got the best years of him. We didn't win anything. But like that lineup, I think they're going to keep their players around. Then the Reds, they have a young, talented team. I don't think they're making trades at the deadline. So those teams will still put let's just say, their best foot forward in the month of September as opposed to be absolutely in tank mode. I probably think you would get 2 of the 3 overs there in what's remaining on their schedules.
I don't think it's a bad idea, DRS. Your Phillies yesterday booked as a road favorite in San Francisco, trying to avoid a sweep in some day baseball action against the Giants. They did that and then some. 13-zip, the win for the Phils yesterday. Kyle Schwarber, a 3-run shot. Frankly, DRS, this game was out of hand because of a great outing from Jesus Luzardo. That's a huge thing to see, who got off to a great start this year in Philadelphia and then was atrocious the last month. Plus, you had 7 runs scored by the Phils in the 8th. They avoid the sweep. They win 13-zip. And DRS, for a team that has struggled offensively this week, a good sign for the Fightins.
No, the best sign in that game, Schwarber hit his 29th home run, which having another very good year. But Bryce Harper, 4 hits, all 4 extra bases, including 1 home run, which is pretty incredible. If he's back, the Phillies are back.
Multiple RBIs for JT Realmuto as well. More MLB next.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Sheet cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Jesus Luzardo for Philadelphia yesterday looked like a Cy Young contender. Had not been the case, DRS, in the previous 8 starts for Luzardo, where he allowed a total of 27 earned runs. But yesterday was able to blank the Giants. The Phillies played at 13. They avoid the sweep against SF. You know what's been interesting, though? The update in the odds to win National League Cy Young. As we kind of were discussing earlier this week, the Phillies in first place, although we haven't seen either guy pitch during the midweek set, both in action over the weekend, and we expect here in the next few days. Zach Wheeler, now a -140 favorite to win National League Cy Young in front of Paul Skeens, who even after the weekend and continued Wheeler gems was a -money favorite in front of the Phillies ace. No longer.
Yeah, market manipulation. Do you know why that actually happened, Ben? We saw it in the NBA a couple years ago. I want to say it was Nikola Jokic, where they did the straw poll for general managers, and it was overwhelming towards Jokic, and he just absolutely ran away with it. They did one of those straw polls of who would be your Cy Young now, and Zach Wheeler came on top of Paul Skeens in second. That's where your flip right there. So it's kind of odd. That's really weird on a manipulation where it's like, okay, the betting markets are settled in, the bets are in here, the analyzation, both these guys doing well. We're not going to flip it around. And then you just get, hey, by the way, who's the Cy Young? Oh, we think it's actually going to be Zach Wheeler. Now he's the favorite at a -140 price. That's great you brought that up because I didn't see that coming into the show. Just figured that they didn't start not many changes, but I did see that poll come out within the past 24 hours. Look at that market movement. That's pretty interesting to see that where you can just get the backhand, like, who do you think is going to win it? Oh, it's Zach Wheeler right now. Those market odds shift immediately on that type of inside information, if it is technically inside information.
And we had discussed, DRS, when you might be able to get in on those numbers, when that market might change. We thought even without the straw poll, this would happen at a certain point in the second half following the All-Star break, with the Phillies in high leverage spots, turning to their ace to try to win a division, to better themselves in playoff positioning. And how Paul Skeens, despite his best efforts, still has a losing record, and his Pirates do not seem to score when he is on the bump. Elsewhere around Major League Baseball yesterday, under the arch in St. Louis, the Nationals end a 4-game slide. A tumultuous start to this week for Washington after they fired their head coach, manager Davey Martinez, and the GM over the weekend. They snapped that 4-game slide. They plate 8 yesterday against St. Louis, and they capped off their scoring with James Wood hitting a solo shot. He has been sensational this year for the Nats. The young star helps Washington to the 8-2 win.
Yeah, you got 24 bombs. It's a fun team on a night-to-night basis. Like, maybe you don't want to take them on the money line because they're 38 and 54, but value's in the eye of the beholder. We get that, and there'll be good spots for them in that essence. But when you look at the 1 through 9, it's fun, man. Abrams, Wood, Rosario, Bell, Lowe. Like, you can really get some pretty good guys at good prices here. And if you're just looking for those RBI props, they provide it on a night-to-night basis. Like, look at Abrams and Wood, 287 apiece on the season,
Yeah,
1-2, getting a lot of at-bats in the game. That's a fun team to bet, team total-wise and RBI prop-wise, no doubt about it. Just the results going to differ on a night-to-night basis, whether they win or lose.
69 nice RBIs for James Wood already this year. That's some of the best in Major League Baseball. All right, DRS, we talked about the Red Sox. Speaking of offense, all week long, the Red Sox were absolutely hammering the Rockies at home in Fenway, as you would anticipate. When you are playing the worst team in baseball, you must take advantage. And Boston absolutely did that in their 3-game sweep over Colorado. 29 total runs scored, 9, 10, and then 10 more. And really good news as well, DRS, for the Red Sox yesterday. Masataka Yoshida, who of course was a big acquisition a few years ago, had shoulder surgery in this previous October, made his debut yesterday and looked pretty good at the dish. 3 for 4 with a RBI double in the mix as well, or a double and an RBI. Yoshida back for the Red Sox. The rookies continue to perform. Roman Anthony, 2 for 4. Carlos Narvaez, a home run as well. The Red Sox sweep the Colorado Rockies, 4 straight wins, or excuse me, even more than that for Boston. I believe the number now is up to 6 consecutive victories for the Sox.
Yeah, and also Bregman, waiting for him to come back. It's an exciting young lineup. When they got rid of Devers, they said, we have a lot of young players here, guys coming back from the DL. Wood should be fine, and we should be able to move forward. But it's nice to always get that jump start here and still stay at home and crush the baseball against the worst team in baseball, which is Colorado. And then we'll preview that game tonight a little bit later. The Tampa Bay Rays coming to town. Those Boston Red Sox back could stay hot against Taj Bradley and also Walker Buehler on the mound. You got a lot of gas cans possibly out there that you could pour that gasoline on. But good sign for the Red Sox, man. They are hitting the baseball. We talked about it also, Ben. Heat in that environment, like 80-degree temperatures, winds blowing out of Boston. That's what you get here. Boston took advantage of it.
Sox swept the Nats over the weekend, complete the sweep against the Rockies. A critical 4-game set against their divisional foe in Tampa, with right now, DRS, both the Rays and the Red Sox and even the Yankees all in a wild card spot. Boston tied for that 3rd and final alongside the Mariners. The M's have lost their first 2 games in the Bronx. The Red Sox have won 6 straight, now tied for that final wild card spot. And to make the postseason in the American League, Boston plus 176. Still a time to get that plus money price. Speaking of divisional duels in a 4-game set, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres this week out at Petco. 8-2, the victory yesterday for Arizona in a great outing, DRS, for a guy that has 9 wins, but a lot of those wins early in the year. Brandon Pfaadt, 9-6, only 2 earned, allowed, 8 runs scored by the D-backs. Offense not the issue for the Snakes this season.
No, certainly not. And by the way, Brandon Pfaadt with a very good start yesterday. And Dylan Cease hasn't been great, but he was the better pitcher on the mound. I thought that would be able to say, you know what? Padres just might be the better side, and they weren't. But now you're taking a look at the lineup here for those Padres past couple games. 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs against the Diamondbacks as they try to close it out today. I need another bat in that lineup here for the Padres before I can start to trust them. But Pfaadt going on the road and dealing yesterday wasn't on my card.
Geraldo Perdomo, a grand slam for Arizona yesterday. DRS, we talked about the Dodgers on this 6-game slide. 4th and final game of their midweek set between divisional mates, the Padres and the D-backs today. The Giants even not able to complete the sweep yesterday against the Philadelphia Phillies. Still trail LA by 5 games. The Dodgers still have a 5-game lead in the National League West and are a minus 1,700 favorite to win this division for what I believe is the 12th time in the last 13 years. The Rockies not on the board any longer, as you would assume. I believe 21-72, the record now for
already
Colorado.
eliminated.
Some WNBA action next.
Cooper Flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag, and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. You know, a lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, early, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California, if you recall, I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know, once you get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team, who is the point guard? And then I think as a sixth man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's round out this opening hour on a Thursday on the early line on SportsGrid. A quadruple header of action yesterday in the WNBA. Some early games as well in DRS in downtown Indianapolis. It was a great sight to see Caitlin Clark return. She had missed 5 consecutive games and missed 10 games already this year in her second WNBA season with the Indiana Fever. Clark not bad in her return, but not great. And frankly, nobody with the Fever great yesterday. In fact, it was the day of the dog around the W. That included the Golden State Valkyries going on the road to Indianapolis and pasting the Fever 80-61, nearly a 20-point win for the expansion team in the Valkyries. They're now above 500 again. Clark played 25 minutes, 10 points, 6 dimes, 5 boards, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. But Indiana as a team shooting worse than 31% from the floor, and Golden State takes advantage, winning outright as the 6.5-point dog yesterday on the road.
Yeah, sometimes you take a look at these games and you try to equate it to like Major League Baseball or even an NFL team coming from the West Coast playing at 1 o'clock. Like, you should have that advantage if you were the Fever. You were playing a 12 o'clock game, which essentially would be, a 10 o'clock feel for the Valkyries in the morning, and you were the ones, the Fever, that were sleeping at the opening bell. That's ridiculous here. I mean, it's crazy that you had all that hype around that game and to see what Caitlin Clark was going to come back. Maybe an afterthought, the Fever probably win this game, but I want to watch what Caitlin Clark does. She wasn't that good, but still working her way back, and their team was terrible in that. Now under 500 on the season at 9-10 as favorites, got blown up yesterday.
DRS, there are 3 teams right now: Indiana, Washington, Las Vegas, all a game below 500 at 9-10. Those 3 teams at the moment, we're still not near the halfway point. 44 games this year in the WNBA. The All-Star break upcoming not this weekend, but the one following. Those 3 teams battling for the final 2 playoff spots at this current juncture. Again, a lot of early games yesterday, and then one nightcap in Chicago. Really quick turnaround for the Sky, who played a matinee game in the nation's capital on Tuesday, had to fly back home, play at night on Wednesday, and they beat the Dallas Wings, booked as an ever so slight home underdog. Just a point and a couple of cents on the money line, but a big night in Chicago. Angel Reese, her 7th consecutive double-double. This is the first one without 16 boards in that 7-game run, or at least 16 points in the last 5. But her teammate Rebecca Allen off the bench, 27 points, 5 made triples. The Sky beat the Wings and Paige Becker's 87-76. Tough for Dallas right now, dealing with significant injuries. Arike Ogunbowale, Dejanay Carrington, as was mentioned, they're 2-9 on the road and 6-15 this season. But the Sky pick up a big victory.
Now, what is the L for lemon pepper? And the thing I look at is I see Haley Van Lith on the screen with us. Oh, she probably had a good game. She played 8 minutes, scored 2 points. What's the L for lemon pepper? Do we know what that is? Is that her nickname? Haley Van Lith, lemon pepper?
I have no idea. Lemon pepper is normally associated with Atlanta. Yeah.
Wingstop, lemon pepper wings. Like I don't. We got to figure that one out.
Maybe the Sky sponsored by Wingstop. I'm not entirely sure. Chicago now 6-13. Maybe. Yeah. But I still don't know. 6-13 this year for Chicago. Yeah, but lemon pepper is normally associated with Atlanta. So I don't really love that. And the Dream were not playing
Wings, lemon pepper.
yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, 6-15, the record for the Wings, by the way. Second worst at this current juncture in the W. The worst record is the Sun. But what a win yesterday for Connecticut. They're now 3-16, but as a 17-point home dog yesterday, they beat the Seattle Storm 93-83. Again, the day of the dog continues. The Phoenix Mercury DRS continue to look like a true championship contender. They knock off the best team in the WNBA, handing the Minnesota Lynx just their 3rd loss of the regular season, 79-71, as a home 7.5-point underdog. And one of the greats to do it, Alyssa Thomas, continues to rack it up. 29 points yesterday. Her fiance, DeWanna Bonner, making her Phoenix return debut. She had 7 points off the bench. Alyssa Thomas earlier this week, 16th career triple-double. Nobody else in WNBA history has more than 4, and then backs it up with a 29-point performance. The Mercury right now, 2nd best record by themselves in the WNBA, 14-6.
And by the way, you got to take a look at the Sun and the Storm. I mean, maybe that's the Storm flying in from the West Coast, early start, up late at the casino, playing craps, playing blackjack, playing slots, forgot about the time, and got hammered as 17-point favorites. And by the way, if you do play for the Connecticut Sun, do you get to stay at Mohegan Sun, like for free, just gamble and get comped all over the place? Might be a nice place to be, I got to tell you. Why would they sell?
Not on WNBA games. That'd be the only thing I advise. Hour 2 next.
I said, you crank that Soldier Boy, right? You Darvish back on the mound. Haven't seen this guy in a minute right now. Yeah, man, crank it, man. Get it going up. Hit the high. Yeah, let's go. Crank that Soldier Boy up here. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. That was big back then. Where were you? Senior high school? Or maybe even in grade school?
Bar mitzvah slate. In the bar mitzvah slate each and every weekend. The young Benny Steve was out there hitting it.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh,
that's nuts. In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
They'd be like 80 times. They'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Scrounge out a couple of quarters from under the couch to go trade for somebody who actually makes some money. I don't think that he would actually do that. That's not in Hal's style the last couple of years, especially in season. I saw they signed that Heimer Candelario, who the Reds released. That's more their style, going the discount aisle as opposed to trading for someone who's actually having a huge year like Suarez.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.